What is the true journey of human evolution? Is the mind the highest state, or is there something beyond it? The ancient wisdom of the Pancha Kosa and Bhagavad Gita reveals a path of spiritual progression, one that moves from physical to the subtle, from the restless mind to higher consciousness. This journey is not just about controlling the mind, but transcending it, leading to ultimate self realization. The law of spiritual progression, a journey from the gross to the subtle, from the material to the spiritual. This ancient understanding comes from the teachings of Vrigu as recorded in the Taittiriya Upanishad. It is called the doctrine of the Pancha Kosa, the five sheaths. At the core of every being lies the Brahman, the ultimate reality, but this truth is hidden, encased within layers. Five sheaths that veil its pure nature. These five stages of existence represent the evolution of consciousness itself. Bhrigu, guided by his father Varuna, embarked on a deep meditative search for truth. As he progressed, he uncovered these five layers, each leading him closer to the ultimate realization. The first and outermost seed is the Annamaya Kosh, the food sheath. This is the physical body, sustained by food and perishable in nature. It is the grossest layer, the starting point of human existence. Beyond this lies the Pranamaya Kosh, the seat of life energy or prana. This is the vital force that animates the body, allowing it to move, breathe, and function. It is subtler than the physical, but still bound by limitations. Then comes the Manomaya Kosh, the mental seat, the realm of thoughts, emotions, and perception. This is the level where most human activity takes place. It is here that desires, fears, and attachments arise. However, knowledge at this stage remains fragmented. The mind seeks, but it does not yet grasp the full truth. Higher still is the Vijnanamaya Kosh, the seat of higher intelligence, also called the supramental plan. At this level, the limitations of mind are broken and direct knowledge bursts in. This is the realm of insight, clarity, and true wisdom, where one begins to perceive the deeper reality beyond illusion. And finally, the journey reaches the Anandamaya Kosh, the seat of bliss. This is the experience of pure joy, unshaken by external circumstances. Here, the individual merges with the infinite, realizing the truth beyond birth and death. Sri Aurobindo speaks of this evolution as an ongoing process. Just as life evolved from matter and mind evolved from life, so too will the supramental consciousness evolve beyond the limitations of the human mind. This stage, when fully realized, will transcend suffering, age, and mortality itself. This progression is not separate layers, but an interwoven reality. Each seed exists within the others, with Brahman as the foundation of all. To realize this truth is to go beyond suffering, to transcend the cycle of birth and death, the samsara. As the Upanishad declares, Taratam Sokam Atmavid, it means one who knows the self goes beyond all sorrow. The journey of human evolution is not over. The supramental plan is the next great step, one that awaits those who seek, those who realize, and those who transcend. Is the mind a sense organ or something more? The Bhagavad Gita provides deep insight into the nature of the mind, assigning it the role of a subtle sense organ. It does not stand apart from the senses but belongs to the same lower order as the body, intellect or buddhi, and the five great elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. The Gita declares, Indriyanam manaschasmi, of the senses, I am the mind. This reveals that among the sense faculties, the mind holds a special place, carrying both excellence and limitation. It has a material basis, making it higher than the external senses, but lower than buddhi, the intellect. To understand the function of the mind, the Upanishad give the imagery of a chariot. The body is the chariot, the intellect, buddhi, is the charioteer. The mind, manas, holds the reins, and the senses are the wild horses. The Gita highlights how the mind is constantly pulled and shaken by sensory desires. Much like a boat tossed about in a storm, Indriyani pramadhini haranti prashabham manaha. The senses are turbulent and can overpower the mind completely. This is given in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, sloka or verse 60. Next we found this restless nature of the mind is further emphasized. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi valavadridam. It means the mind is fickle, turbulent, strong, and stubborn. It is as difficult to control as the wind. But despite its instability, the Gita teaches that the mind can be trained. A mind that attains steadiness is called sthita pragya, one that remains unwavering in wisdom. It develops samatvam, equanimity, and shanti, peace. This steadiness is compared to a flame that burns steadily in a windless place. Yatha deepo nivatastau neingate. Just as a lamp in a windless place does not flicker, so too does the steady mind remain unmoved. A mind free from turbulence is likened to a tortoise withdrawing its limbs, drawing inward to protect itself from distractions. Yada samharate chayam gurmagyanev sarvashah. Just as a tortoise retracts its limbs, the wise withdraw their senses from worldly distractions. However, the real battle of the mind is not external, it is internal. Troubles do not arise from the outside world as much as they emerge from within. Adi Shankaracharya remarked, "There are no devils other than those in the minds of man." And so, the Gita gives a powerful message. Uddharedatmanatmanam na atmanam avasadhayet atmeva hi atmano bandhuhu
Atmeva ripuratmanaha.
It means, let a man lift himself by his own self. Let him not degrade himself, for he alone is his own friend, and he alone is his own enemy. The opening verse of the Gita, spoken by Dhritarashtra, Dharma Kshetra Kurukshetra, is not just about the battlefield of Kurukshetra, it symbolizes the battlefield within, the Manakshetra, where a constant war takes place between conflicting forces. This inner struggle is not unique to one tradition. Even ancient Greek philosophy refers to it as psychomachia, the battle of the mind. And this is where the law of spiritual progression takes shape. The mind, though restless and caught in conflict, is not the highest state of human evolution. It is just one stage. Through self-mastery, discipline, and wisdom, the mind must be guided toward the higher realms of intellect, Vigyanmay Kosh, and ultimately to the blissful state, Anandamay Kosh. So the next question comes, how does the mind evolve beyond desire and attachment? The Gita teaches that true detachment and freedom from the desire for results are not physical acts but mental phenomena. It is not about renouncing action. It is about renouncing attachment to the fruits of action. A person who attains this state remains unaffected, just like a lotus in water. Padma patram eva ambhasam. Like a lotus leaf untouched by water, one who acts with detachment remains unaffected by the external world. This giving up is psychological and attitudinal, not external or physical. It is an inner transformation where the mind frees itself from the grip of emotions that create suffering. Among these emotions, anger or krodha is one of the most dangerous. The Gita explains how it leads to self-destruction.
Krodhat bhavati sammohaha, samohat smriti bhibramaha, smriti bhramashat buddhi nasho, buddhi nashat pranayashyati.
From anger comes delusion. From delusion, the loss of memory. From loss of memory, the destruction of reason. And from the destruction of reason, one perishes. Anger is one of the 6 enemies, Shadripus, that corrupt the mind. Alongside desire or kama, greed or lova, delusion or moha, arrogance or mada, and envy or matsarya. These forces keep the mind in a restless state, preventing it from progressing toward higher wisdom. But the Gita does not just diagnose the problem, it also provides the path to transcendence. It adopts the Guru-Shishya relationship, where guidance comes through surrender, inquiry, or pariprashna, and the exercise of free will. Krishna does not impose his wisdom on Arjuna. He leads him to discover it. The evolution of the mind takes place through 3 fundamental functions, which the Gita elevates to the status of yoga. Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge linked to cognition. Karma Yoga, the path of action linked to volition. Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion linked to emotion. This is how the mind progresses. It moves beyond attachment, beyond the chaos of emotions, and toward a state of stability and wisdom. It is not about suppressing the mind, but refining it, lifting it from its lower tendencies and aligning it with the highest reality. This journey of the mind is a key stage in the law of spiritual progression, From an uncontrolled and desire driven state, it evolves towards self mastery and ultimately merges into higher consciousness. The transformation of the mind is not the end, but it is an essential step toward the realization of the self.